I asked for it. I sent a tweet yesterday. Sometimes people don't like that when you ask for something. All I wanted yesterday was a nice, easy, controlled win from the Cleveland Browns. And do you know what they delivered to me on a beautiful Sunday, Ryan? They delivered a nice, easy, controlled win over a team that they should have beat, that they should have shut out like they did, the team they were able to put up points on. And I was able to sit back and just enjoy the game of the Cleveland Browns taking care of business. I don't know how much there is to read into that game. We'll certainly talk a lot of Deshaun Watson, an unfortunate side with the Jed Wills injury, but the Browns did something that I haven't been able to enjoy in a long time. And that's just taking care of business. There was no drama. There was no turn at some point of the game where they got back into it. You felt from kickoff that the Browns were able to get this done. I think there's something to read into that. The job Kevin Stefanski has done, Deshaun Watson, this defense, the Cavs, Ohio State, we got Gold Glovers. We got it all for you right here on a Victory Monday, right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Just want everybody to sleep in a little bit on their on the time change there. So a little delay. We're all right. We're rolling off. We're taking you up to 11 o'clock this morning. We have a lot to get to. Really a great Victory Monday this morning. Cavs exercising, dude, 16 straight games they had lost to the Warriors in the regular season. Donovan Mitchell's a man possessed. Couple of Gold Glovers there for the Guardians. Managerial update. We'll just kind of see how that plays out, and certainly a lot to get to with the Cleveland Browns. We'll get to the morning update. We'll recap our weekend of the picks with Tipico. Okay, my lock of the weekend did not hit, but I got another lock for you Monday night, Ryan.
I'm ready for it, man.
All right, let's get to it. We'll get to that with Tipico a little bit later on. And, of course, our bracket this week, which we already know, I'm really excited. The best music video of all time. We had Thriller in Time Hop last week. I think that's up there. And this is all genre in an era. Ryan, do they do music videos anymore?
They do music videos,
Okay,
but I'm not sure if they do them like they did.
Well, MTV is not what it used to be, as being the old guy that I am. So we'll do your favorite music video of all time. We'll take that on back. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Browns got it done. They took care of business against an Arizona Cardinals team that, frankly, I can say this now, they didn't deserve to be on the field. And when they start Clayton Tune, was it 6 sacks? The Browns ate up. Dalvin Tomlinson. Did you see the Infinity Gauntlet celebration? I love Dalvin, man. He is the best. Shelby Harris getting after it. I mean, the crazy thing is, you had a game like that where I'm sure let me put it this way. I will never say that Myles Garrett doesn't have an impact on the game because they slide protection, they do all those things, but they did that and had the defensive effort that they did with Myles Garrett. He had 1 of the sacks, but Dalvin Tomlinson 2.5. That was a career high. You just were all over the field, creating turnovers, and the Browns pitched their first shutout since 2007. I tweeted this out because it was funny. I was watching the game while holding a 4-month-old. And my wife's like, what are you doing? And I'm just scrolling on my phone because I wanted to find out the last time the Browns had pitched a shutout. Well, it was 2007. Here's your other trivia question. When's the last time that they pitched a shutout while also scoring 20-plus points? Because their last shutout was an 8-0 win against the Bills in like some snow globe type of game. The last time that they scored 20-plus while pitching a shutout, 2005. They beat the Dolphins 22-0. So yesterday, I mean, after the first quarter, it was just kind of like, all right, you had that little maybe uneasiness about, okay, are we going to keep them around in this game? You come out, you put up a couple of touchdowns or a touchdown in the second quarter, and you felt better about it. And that's where it really turned. At halftime, you just knew really Arizona didn't have much going for them. And the Browns took care of business. And I don't want to lose sight of that. We're going to talk a lot about Deshaun Watson this morning. It was great to see him back out there. It was great to see some of those throws with Amari Cooper. I'm really afraid about something with the Browns this morning, though. Very much afraid about something. Comes up a little bit later in the show. But the Browns did what a good team would do. They dominated. They did not let Arizona breathe. And in a game like that, what happens when the underdog pulls off the upset? It's when you let them hang around. It's when you let them start to build some momentum or start to feel good about themselves. And they didn't do that. And they just absolutely demolished poor Clayton Tune. He was their leading rusher with 28 yards. They had nothing on the ground game. They have banged up backs left and right. And, let's call it for what it is. They're void of some playmakers over there. Marquise Hollywood-Brown is it. He had 24 yards. And that's a game, I think, a little bit of a get-right game for the defense. They had that graphic up in the pregame, which, by the way, Spiro Dides and Adam Archuleta should just, start following the Browns. I feel like it's called, 5 straight games for the Browns. So they had the graphic up on CBS where the first 6 games on where the Browns defense was at and how great they were doing. And then the last couple of weeks where they were averaging giving up 40-plus points a game and they gave up all these yards. That seemed to be a get-right game, and rightly so. There was nothing about that Arizona offense that you were worried about it, and the Browns took it out and they took care of it. You flip over to the offense, and we start with Deshaun Watson. 19 out of 30. 219, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, which is great. He's only sacked once. Had a couple of nice runs, which I think that is the exciting thing about Watson. And we're going to post this as our Twitter question this morning at Matt Fontana Show. After that game yesterday, how are you feeling about Deshaun Watson? Do you feel a lot better, a little bit better, unchanged, or you feel worse? And I'd be open to people on the reason why. But Deshaun Watson, that is one of the elements that is going to help propel this team and hopefully get him back to being that franchise quarterback. He can move, and he can pick up first downs. He's elusive in the open field. Eventually, would I like to get back to calling designed quarterback runs? Yeah, I don't know if now's the right time. You want to get the shoulder healthy. But you see what a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL can do when they're able just to escape the pocket, when they're able to get out there. Now, that will come with its own litany of issues, right? Offensive line that asks for holding and that asks for guys down the field. And you had one call back there who's holding. That's kind of what you live for. And there's going to be that adjustment for the offense in general. When we talk about Watson getting back into it, Ryan, the receivers have to get back into it with Watson. The linemen have to get back into, okay, we worked so hard on keeping at the line and not holding and now escaping. It's going to be an evolution. It's going to be some time. And I say that, and I sent some tweets out about Watson, and it's so polarizing because you get some groups of people that are like, yeah, we got to give him some time to warm up and get back into it. Then you get the other people, hey, man, he's $230 million. I'm sick of this crap. I'm sick of the excuse making from the Cleveland media. I'm sick of these people making excuses for Deshaun Watson. I mean, personally, I'm just being a realist about it. And I sent that tweet, fired up some people. I said, what did you expect from Deshaun Watson? Now, he got better as the game went on. From where he started, you were like, okay, there's some rust there. And eventually uncorks that one to Amari Cooper, which was great. The pocket presence is always going to be something that I watch because your accuracy is one thing, the reading of the defense is another. But if you're starting to get skittish in the pocket and then you start evacuating, kind of like Watson was, and to watch some of the tape and really, I might reach out to Jake Burns, OBR, because he does the film breakdowns, and I'd love to get Jake's thoughts on this. About the escaping of the pocket. Is he doing it because guys are not open, or is he doing it because he can't see them and he's making the wrong reads, or he is skittish in the pocket? And it's not like he was running out of there in 2 seconds. Like for the majority of the runs that I saw from Watson, he held in there, didn't see what was open, and then he took off. That is what you want to see in a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. The thing that sticks out to me is the short throw accuracy. Okay, the fourth down, which I argue with people all the time, they're going to go for it. I want them to be aggressive. Frankly, you should have had it. It hit Jordan Akins in the hands. Was it a good throw from Watson? Not necessarily. You had to throw it away from the defender. It was low and away. I expected NFL tight end to make that play. But there were some other ones. There was one to Cooper that was kind of behind him. I think there was another one to Elijah Moore that it just seemed a little off. And I think those will come with reps. There's an element that, 15 yards down the field, I need that type of accuracy. It's a different type on the short stuff when you're trying to hit guys coming across the middle. Sometimes those can be harder throws. Sometimes the short throws require more accuracy or more attention to detail on completing them as opposed to just dropping back, you're ripping it, and we're going, right? It's a work in progress. And I understand that some people don't want to hear that, because they were waiting for Deshaun Watson to come back, and they were excited, and they don't have any excuses for him. Whether it's the contract, whether it's just how people feel with Deshaun Watson, I don't know if he's built enough cachet to get the benefit of the doubt. And I'm not telling you you're wrong by feeling that way for the money and the things that are invested, and also the player that Deshaun Watson is. He's not some rookie that I'm trying to get something figured out. This isn't some journeyman backup quarterback. Shout out to Josh Dobbs. Look at freaking Josh Dobbs right now. Hell yeah. He's not some journeyman that you know that there's a ceiling. We can have expectations for Deshaun Watson, and you can place those expectations high. You're not wrong for that. So if you want to hold that every time he takes the field, you expect perfection, that's fine. But I don't think you're going to get it on Sunday. And you didn't. And what we do moving forward, or what the Browns do with that moving forward, now you face the test of Baltimore, which, oh my God, has that sleeping giant woke. Holy cow. Did you see Adam Schefter's tweet yesterday? Playoffs started today. All four of the AFC North teams are in. They're in.
Rightfully so.
Baltimore, I picked Seattle. That was my lock last week. Woo, boy. Do we have big play Baltimore? Did they send that clip to the Ravens or something like that? I'm just checking, because holy cow, we'll go around the league coming up. Didn't really see the Bengals getting that win last night either, did I? Ooh, we did all right on our picks, but can I use that code again on Tipico? Use that code 150. Get signed up. Use those bonus bets. I about used mine up, Ryan. I got that $30 futures. I might need to pull that out tonight.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about betting last night because I remember on Friday's show I was telling you I was high on the Eagles. I set a touchdown, but so I went and took the bet, and I was like, oh, I'll bet down a little bit. I parlayed it with an AJ Brown touchdown that hit 5.5. 5.5. I took the alt spread 5.5.
I also took 5.5, and I had a long parlay. I had AJ Brown 50 yards. I had Goddard 25. I had CeeDee Lamb 50. Everything hit except the 5.5, and they won by 5. Go figure. Maybe we have a job in another life, Ryan, at Tipico, because we about set that line there.
No kidding.
At 5.5, and we unfortunately didn't hit. But we'll rebound tonight in Monday Night Football. So, yeah, I mean, you're facing Baltimore this weekend. They're on right now. And we'll talk a lot about that game during the week and getting ready for it. But that's where Sunday was exactly what I needed from the Cleveland Browns. It was a get-right game for the defense. It was a very professional win. You didn't let Arizona get in that game, and then you eased Deshaun Watson back into the game. Kevin Stefanski kind of downplayed that after the game yesterday. He said we weren't trying to ease him in so much. It was, hey, this was the game plan. We wanted to see the run early, and then you get after it. And Watson, I'm not saying didn't make some good throws, and he did get better as the game went on, and that's what you ask for. And now you stare down the barrel of an AFC North team that is playing like the best team in the AFC right now. I still think it's the Chiefs, but Baltimore is in that conversation. And now the Ravens have grand ideas of getting that number 1 seed in the bye. So they're going to be supremely motivated come Sunday. Our question is up. How do you feel about Deshaun Watson after yesterday's game? A lot better, a little better, unchanged, or worse? And I think you could run the gambit. You could say you don't feel better because he was skittish in the pocket or his throws were here. You could say you felt a lot better, threw some touchdowns, looked better, at least out on the field. I'll cast my vote here to start. And I am unchanged because that is what I expected. And it's what I wanted to see. And it's all part of this process. People don't like that. They don't want to hear that. They all want it right now. And they want Watson back. And that's fine. If I had to lean, I would say maybe a little better. I certainly don't feel a lot better. I will not sit here today and try to tell you that all of a sudden everything is rosy. Everything is good. We're back. Because I think there's another massive problem facing the Cleveland Browns. Really 2 out of that game, which we'll talk about right now. But I'm going to say unchanged just a little bit. Ryan, cast your vote before we talk about 2 things that I don't like out of the Cleveland Browns right now. How do you feel about Deshaun Watson, young Ryan?
Yeah, I feel a little bit better. And like you said, it's hard to... It's easy, I'll say, to see it through rose-colored glasses because we've been waiting to see Deshaun Watson come perform for so long. And then kind of when you boil
You
it down,
it's kind of like you open the present and you're like, oh, this is okay. All right, this is what I was looking for. Sometimes that's good.
Exactly. But then you go back, it's like he's looked great against a really horrible Titans pass defense, and then obviously the Cardinals. But you got to take some good things away from it as well. Obviously, it was good to see he got a lot better as the game went on, which was expected when you don't play for a couple weeks. And then that one throw, everyone knows what I'm talking about. It felt like that really brought life back into the Deshaun Watson hype, and I went right to Twitter after it happened, and it felt really, really good.
Yeah, Ryan Tyler, 33. Speaking of gifts, do you prefer to get a gift that you're surprised or the gift that you asked for?
I think surprised, and then even so, if it's a surprise and something I wanted, then it's even better. But I would say a surprise because I feel like that's what it's all about.
So one of the changes, my wife and I have been together coming on 10 years now, which is insane. We made this change a little while ago. We just have a note in our phone, like a shared note, and we just add gifts for each other. Yeah. Like, this is what I want. This and it's really been nice, to be honest with you. She's an excellent gift giver. I try my best. I'm still a guy, so I try. So having that list is not a bad thing for anybody in a relationship out there. Sometimes the shared notes of gifts to buy is not a bad thing at all. Browns did not get a gift yesterday with Jed Wills going down. It seems bad. Aircast, they'll get the MRI today, which is actually... That alone gives me concern that this is a ligament thing. It's not a broken bone. He's out anyway. This really, I think, is going to put the squeeze a little bit on the Cleveland Browns, where you are now facing a potential of losing both of your starting tackles. One was an all-pro in Jack Conklin. DeJuan Jones, holy cow, man. Brian Baldinger does his Baldy breakdown. He had a couple wide teller DeJuan Jones plays. DeJuan Jones playing his ass off out there, man. And now you're going to have to turn to James Hudson at a very unfortunate thing with Jed Wills. And I know... You hate to see it, but of course it happens, and people just got to insert their Jed Wills hate and their Jed Wills negativity, which is just not the place for it. No matter what, he was your starting left tackle, and now you probably won't have him for some time. So we'll get to the news a little bit later with Kevin Stefanski, but I would probably say it's fair to assume that you will be without Jed Wills for some time. So now you will turn to James Hudson. James Hudson obviously was here for that. He was your swing tackle. He's played at least in the NFL before, but how that can change things with Deshaun Watson coming back. And you are facing the #1 sack team in the NFL this weekend against the Baltimore Ravens. That hurts. That hurts. And I think it continues to throw the wrench into Jed Wills' future. You know that you're on a guaranteed contract with him next year, and now you have to bring him back off of an injury. And I'm putting the cart before the horse, and I probably shouldn't do that. I'm going to try to stay positive about it. But when you see him on the cart with the Aircast and just how Jed Wills looked, I have a bad feeling that this is going to be maybe a season ender for him. So now that complicates things even more. Not saying you were trying to move on from him. I don't think there was any way you could move on from him. But now you have a left tackle that was on shaky ground to begin with, and now he's coming off an injury going into next year. Browns will have to piece that together. Really just a gut-wrenching one part there. Another part of watching that game, because again, it's a victory Monday. I feel good. Browns took care of business. They did what I asked them to do. Deshaun Watson looked better. But there's something that just nags on me today, Ron. There's something that just weighs on me a little bit. The Browns have no receivers other than Amari Cooper. That was evident yesterday. To watching that game where we made excuses when P.J. Walker was in there about why, at the time, Donovan Peoples-Jones wasn't getting receptions. Why Elijah Moore. And I just figured, hey, it's a backup quarterback, throw to Njoku and Amari Cooper. It was one game for Deshaun Watson coming back. Cooper, 5 receptions, $139 in the touchdown. Take that all day long. Jerome Ford, your second leading receiver, with 5 for 33. David Njoku, 4 for 26, including the touchdown. Elijah Moore, 2 on 2 targets. Tillman, 1. Goodwin, nothing on 2 targets. I'm not trying to revisit the Donovan Peoples-Jones trade. I frankly didn't like it. Watching that game, I like it even less than I did. And it is a real concern for me. That is a real concern. Am I a victim of the moment of watching the Eagles and the Cowboys go at it yesterday with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb? Am I a victim of watching last night with T. Higgins? They didn't even need Jamar Chase in that game. They threw it to T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. There's Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis didn't even have a catch in that game. But still, Am I maybe a little victim of that? Sure. But I watched the game and I go, we don't have anybody to throw to except Amari Cooper. And they're finding it to Njoku on these screens. Okay, I like that in the short stuff. I am legitimately concerned. And I'm all for getting Cedric Tillman more targets. And you might be telling me, Matt, if Donovan Peoples-Jones was here, he might have had 2 targets for 1 reception for 6 yards or something like that. But I just know that you traded away a receiver that I felt like could actually make plays, and I see no one elevating to fill that role. And if you want to tell me it's one game and calm down, I'll listen to it. And maybe we have, 9 games to go, and here comes Elijah Moore out of nowhere. Because, that's been a bust. That's, to this point, what a bust that's been.
Yeah, I never thought that I would see the day where Jordan Atkins has more targets than Elijah Moore.
Seriously, 3 and 2. You're right. Akins had 3-2 for Elijah Moore. And at the trade, what'd they give up? A 2? No. 2. Or was it a 2 or a 3 for Elijah Moore? I
believe it was their second round.
Okay. I don't even care. Like that, whatever. Okay, beyond that, that's fine. Third round pick, you're right. Good call. That's fine. Don't really care. I'm talking about more what this offense looks like. I'm afraid. I have serious concerns. Because eventually you are going to find teams that are just going to double cover Amari Cooper. And I'm not saying they're not doing that right now. And I love Amari. Is he on that Is he on that Tyreek Hill level where even when they double him, he still finds a way? I hope. Because right now, I have no faith in anybody to catch passes except Amari Cooper and David Njoku. That's a tough world to live in. It could come back to Deshaun Watson. You could tell me, okay, it's going to have to be on Watson to elevate some of these guys and start finding the ball to Moore and Tillman and all these other guys. Kevin Stefanski, sure. Got to scheme these guys home. But am I wrong? Right. I literally, in a morning of positivity where I am super happy they got that win, it was an enjoyable win to watch. This was just like nagging on me. I could not let it go that I don't like where the Browns receiving core is right now. Amari Cooper's playing to an extreme elite level right now, and that's about it. And I don't know if that's sustainable. I really have fear that is not sustainable in today's NFL.
Yeah, thank goodness for Jerome Ford. He looked great out of there catching passes in the backfield. And yeah, it just seems like they really hammered on those screens, which it worked out.
Stefanski loves the screen.
Yeah, but
sure.
We'll see if that's sustainable in this really tough game in Baltimore.
Yeah, and you're going to see that. You're going to see teams start to get ready, and then maybe that's where it opens up. Kevin Stefanski's a good game planner. He is a good schemer. He gets guys open. I understand that. Run game was okay yesterday. I could be concerned that they only as a team rushed for 3 yards on average. They're going to split carries. I frankly like the breakdown at 20-14. 20 carries for Jerome Ford, 14 for Kareem Hunt. He got in the end zone. I like that setup. You're going to use Ford on the majority of the field out of the backfield, and Kareem Hunt is good out of the backfield receiving too. And then Hunt can get you the short yardage, and then when you're inside the 5, give him the football, and you push it on up and you get into the end zone. You're making the best that you can with losing Nick Chubb. But like right now on this offense, you are afraid of Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper. That's it. That's it. Offensive line is playing fine. They're playing to the level that you kind of expect with a change now with Wills having to go out. I hate doing it because I want to talk all positive, but that is something that I circled after that game. That I sit there and I don't like it. I don't like it. And we have time to remedy that. They have time to fix that up. And they knew what they were doing when they let go of Donovan Peoples-Jones. I didn't like it at the time. I don't like it after one game either. So that's where we sit. To Kevin Stefanski, these wars will go on. People will use every one of these games to make a point about what Stefanski's doing or not. And yesterday, I don't want to look at this game like I did the first Baltimore game. Because that first Baltimore game, I completely flushed that away. And I said, your quarterback got ruled out 2 hours before the game. You started a 5th-round rookie. What did you want? And you got smoked. And I just kind of flushed that away. I kind of almost look at it that way from the Arizona game where you did what I asked you to do. The Browns did exactly what I hoped they did. They dominated, and they beat up on an inferior team. That is still a win in the win column. You don't get a half a win because it's just Arizona. You still get the win. There's positives to take out of it, but I'm not going to sit here and start jumping for joy going, hey, everything's great. We're good. You did what you're supposed to do. Same thing with Kevin Stefanski. Did just fine. I liked his decisions on going forward and fourth down, which I think a lot of people use that as their barometer a lot of times with Stefanski, which I think is an odd thing to do, but whatever. It was fine. The culture of this team was set that, yeah, we're going to go out there and beat the Cardinals. They did. So for the Stefanski Wars people, not much I think you can be negative about him. It was just fine. To that defense. That D-line was invested in, and they have shown up all season. I've been really happy with their investment, not only there, but certainly Jim Schwartz coming in and changing what this defense looks like. And that was a game, a little bit of, that get-right game where you had shootouts against the Colts and the Seahawks. You came in and you got right. And there are guys that are really feeling good as they should this morning on that D-line, that secondary. Denzel Ward with a hell of a pick.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was beautiful.
Shelby Harris, great game.
Great game. Dalvin Tomlinson, the 2.5. That was what you wanted to see. And sometimes you need that just to get, momentum back going or just get the spirits lifted a little bit. On top of Watson coming back, there is no reason the Browns can wake up this morning and not feel good, not feel real good. And you take away what you can, now you get ready for Baltimore. And with this defense, I said 10 points. I didn't want what did I say on Friday, right? I said, you just keep the Cardinals from scoring double digits. I didn't know if they were going to score double digits, and they didn't.
Yeah, I thought at least 2 field goals, but
wow. Nothing. And Arizona will get Kyler Murray back, and that's their problem now. And but that is what you are supposed to do.
Yeah.
You held them to 50. Okay, Clayton Tune was 58 yards. As a team, oh, man, let me pull this up because it's a great stat. The Browns sent this out after the game.
Yeah, Matt, I believe. I don't know if this is where you're going to, but they already held the record for holding a team to the least amount of yards this season, which was the Titans.
This season.
And then they even broke it further with the onslaught. On the
so
Cardinals.
then here, 58 yards allowed is the third least in franchise history. We go back to that demolishing of the Bears a couple of years ago when Miles had 4.5 sacks. That is the net yardage allowed. They allowed 47 to the Bears a couple years ago. 1989, they only allowed Pittsburgh 53 yards. I'm pretty sure that was that 51-0 blowout. And then yesterday, you allowed Arizona just 58 yards. The Browns have limited their opponents to 1,878 yards through 9 weeks. That is number 1 in Browns team history. Whew. It's damn good, man. That's damn good. What does that carry to the Baltimore game? Momentum. You're not facing Clayton Tune come Sunday, okay? Because damn, is Lamar. He came up a little limpy. I was watching Red Zone, so when I sit down, I have the Browns game on my main TV, and I watch Red Zone on my iPad.
Yep.
And I was, they cycle through all the games. I love Red Zone. It's the best. And there was a play. Lamar, on a design run, came up a little limpy a little bit. Okay. But he has vaulted himself back into the MVP conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Really interesting now where we're at. McCaffrey's out, I think. You're back to Mahomes. Joe Burrow now all of a sudden has entered the conversation. Yeah. And I think somebody tweeted about C.J. Stroud. Ben Axelrod, shout out to Ben. He retweeted somebody. It's like plus 13,000. But Stroud yesterday set the NFL rookie single-game passing record, 470-5.
Yeah, his best quarterback performance so far this year.
To beat Baker. I was watching that. I go, hey, look at Baker go. Oh, C.J. Stroud. Ouch. Ouch. Very ouch. But we check our scores here. A win for both of us.
Let's go.
It was 3, and they won by 2.
I started Stroud in fantasy.
Oh, so. That was probably a good day for you, Ryan. Probably a pretty good day for you. So your face, Lamar, it's different, but I take the momentum away from that Browns defense. They're playing well on all 3 levels. Sione Taki deserves a shout out today for that pretty athletic interception. And Jack Duffin had it from the OBR. The snaps for the linebackers has really kind of changed over the last couple of weeks. Where Taki's been out, Walker's snap count going up. JOK's kind of going down a little bit. And they're mixing in Tony Fields. And in that game yesterday, I mean, they pulled a lot of the starters late in the game as they should have. So you saw some different guys in there. But they're really piecing it together. And that was also a game that, again, I know it's Arizona. You didn't have Greg Newsome. Good game for him to kind of sit out, get that groin healthy. You didn't need him. You had guys flying around making plays. And this defense seems to be back. And that's where yesterday might have been the get-right game for the Cleveland Browns. For Deshaun Watson and for this defense. Which, as we know, if they're going to go anywhere this season, what are the two things that you're going to have? Deshaun Watson and this defense. And you had big questions surrounding both of them coming into this game. You probably felt better about the defense, as you should have, thinking they'd get better, and they've shown you a little bit more this season. That was a game that you went out and demolished an inferior opponent, and the two things that you needed to self-correct, you did. You got better on Watson, and you got better on the defense, and I love to see it. Let's hear after the game. Now, I want to hear from Deshaun Watson. There's a couple things. The biggest questions were going to be, how'd you come out of this, right? There was that one hit that he took, and I go, it was the same hit from the Tennessee game.
Yeah,
he go, oh, God.
To the ground. He like leaned in with that shoulder, too.
I know, and it was a little higher, I think, than maybe the Tennessee hit, but we all held our breath collectively on that. So the first question to Deshaun Watson after the game, how you feeling after taking some hits? Here's the sound, courtesy of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of football. So, I didn't want to go out there and, like I said before, just play handicap or, hold myself, to a disadvantage because, of an injury that I had before. So, came out healthy. I feel good.
Good. And there's an element of testing that injury, too. In a way, maybe it's good he got a couple of hits to see how he feels and to give that confidence back. I feel like Watson gained that confidence in his shoulders and went on. Certainly, deservingly, when he made the throw to Amari Cooper. So I felt like kind of building on that. Another question, Deshaun Watson. How did it feel just to be back, to be out on the field, playing with your guys? Here's Deshaun Watson after the game yesterday.
It feels good. I mean, this is what, I've been preparing and training very, very hard to get back to, is just to get out there and play free and be able to be very close to myself and just go out there and compete and have fun with my teammates. And that's what, today brought.
Good. And I'm sure the rest of the team felt the same thing. It feels right. They feel complete now. And they know that there's this path to the playoffs and the path to get where they need to go. Yesterday was a step towards that. And I'm not trying to put too much on it. It was the Arizona Cardinals. It's still a win. Still Victory Monday. Coffee still tastes damn good. Iced. I'm sorry. I'm back on the ice.
Always tastes better on a Victory Monday.
A little pumpkin spice action in there. The oat milk. My wife's dairy free, so we got to go with the oat milk and Fontana household. Damn good this morning. Feels good, and especially with Watson. Final one. Here's Kevin Stefanski. Tell me that he didn't sound a little happy after the game yesterday. Deshaun Watson, how'd he look, Coach Stefanski?
Good. Him and Omari drew up that big one at the end there. They had a good conversation on the sideline. We talked about it. Unbelievable throw. I thought he had some really, really good moments. He ran the ball when he needed to, made plays. So I was really, really pleased for him.
You could hear that's about as excited as Kevin Stefanski will get. He played again. Listen to a little chuckle at the beginning there from Kevin Stefanski.
Pretty good. Him and Omari drew up that big one at the end there. They had a good conversation on the sideline. We talked about it. Unbelievable throw. I thought he had some really, really good moments. He ran the ball when he needed to, made plays. So I was really, really pleased for him.
So I want to give the Browns home in our garage beers. We're a little right today. There we go. Better. Go Browns. You could hear that's about as excited as Kevin Stefanski was going to get. And it was everything that you wanted. It was literally everything that I wanted out of that game. Let's update our Twitter question. It's at Matt Fontana Show. We're asking everybody, how do you feel about Deshaun Watson after the game yesterday? A lot better, a little better, unchanged, or worse? I said unchanged. I think that's what I expected it to be. It was. Ryan, you casted your vote a little better.
And that's mainly hinging on that throw, which
it was a good throw.
I needed something.
Good throw.
I needed something to get excited about, and that was one hell of a throw.
And I mean, that is something that at that point of the game where you felt like you were in control a little bit, I'm happy that they aired one out. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got. And he could have come back and that didn't feel quite right. Air it out and see how you feel. Overwhelming or not, 68% of people say they feel a little bit better, 15% unchanged, 14% a lot better, and only 3% say they feel a little bit worse about where they're at. Buck Zips on Twitter. His deep ball is good, but the short to intermediate throws come out of his hand with the nose pointed down. The throw is always low. Twitter's astute from time to time. And a lot of Browns fans had that. And I had a lot of tweets from people saying, dude, the nose is down. And I mean, on the short throws, guys are taught you don't throw it high because that's when you leave your guy out to get clotheslined. B, it allows the defender back into the play and off the hands interception. So you're supposed to hit him in the chest, right? You're supposed to hit him in the chest or low. That is something I talked about earlier. Watson on the intermediate and short, I would hope and believe that will get remedied with the reps. Because when people talk accuracy, 10, 15, 20 yards down the field, that's a different ball of wax. Those throws are sometimes a little bit different. The short and intermediate ones sometimes require a little more attention to detail and, frankly, a little more accuracy. Sometimes they can be harder throws, which is crazy. Like, wait a minute. You're telling me that a 5-yard mesh route is harder to throw than a 17-yard out or a 17-yard seam? Sometimes it can be. And those reps will hopefully come back with Watson. Because the other part, what did we get a little bit after the game? That Watson had a full week of practice and he looked good. Now you enter this week, assuming Watson will not be on the injury report, and he can get 3 full days of practice in. He can prepare and be ready and know that you're going in to face Baltimore. All of that stuff will help. All of that stuff will kind of help. Remiss to not bring up the Cavs at this point. They exercised a little demon against 2016.
Yeah, that beautiful Christmas game.
Christmas Day game. The Cavs had not beaten the Warriors in a regular season game since 2016. They got a 115-104 win. And again, a little like the Browns, I really felt like the Cavs were in control, certainly after that second quarter. First quarter was a close game. Second quarter, they kind of got out. Donovan Mitchell's on a tear. Is that 3 straight 30-point games there for Donovan Mitchell?
He's unconscious.
Friday's game upset me a little bit with the Pacers, where if people want to jump onto one thing about the Cavs, it might be how they close games, right? I don't know if they quite have that figured out yet. Will it eventually come back to bite them? I don't know. But closing out games is something that it'll bother me, going back to Friday. And then now the play-in tournament game where you have to now win out. And granted, I think it's a blessing in disguise. I don't need to mess with that play-in tournament anymore.
Yeah.
So you're out of that pretty much because you lose one, you're not going to be the team to advance out of your pool. That's fine. But just for the Cavs to get that win yesterday, to see now what this team is going to look like healthy. Okay, you get Jared Allen back. You have Darius Garland. Good to see Darius, by the way, because he was off on Friday. Now it comes back for 24 points. I loved that stat line. I loved the Cavs box score from the starters. 31 and 24 from Mitchell and Garland. Everybody else was in double figures. Strus hit a couple of 3 out of 10 for me on the arc max. Come on now. Got to step up a little bit. But there will be this thing about Evan Mobley, right? This seems to be the thing about the Cavs right now. And I set it aside because I'm not ready to start making assumptions about a guy and it just starting his 3rd season. And it's kind of a weird comparison to Watson in a way because people are so hyped, as you should be, about Evan Mobley. You are ready to see it, and you are ready for him to kind of take those steps forward and be the guy that we believe he can be and leading this team. What's the rush? There is no rush. You have Donovan Mitchell to lead this team right now. Evan Mobley's doing just fine. That's it. That's all. That's the only thing that I really look at for the Cavs. And a couple of wins now. What have they won? 2 out of the last 3.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling good. They're right where they should be. Just keeping pace. Nice win against the Warriors, who it's funny too, watching the game. And I think I will fully admit that going back to 2016 has a heavy influence on this. How are the Warriors good? Like, I say that every year, including the year they won the title a couple years ago, where I go, they suck. I go, they're no good. I don't ever think they're really good. Steph Curry continues to prove me wrong. Clay, I still don't think Draymond's very good, even though he had 18. I don't know. I just look at that team and I go, how do they do that? How are they good? Even when I go to Tipico and I see the futures, and they're not favored by any stretch of the imagination, but they're up there. They're in the top 7 to win the title, and I always scratch my head. going. I just don't get it with the Warriors, but they're a good team. That was a solid win for the Guardians. Talk Guardians in a sec. Solid win for the Cavs. Well done. Guardians, shout out to Stephen Kwan, Andres Jimenez. They take some gold gloves yesterday. Waiting to see more on the managerial search. It's kind of where I'm at right now. Kind of quiet over the weekend. Sounds like they might be waiting on Craig Counsell to make a decision here. But one thing to keep an eye on, the owners' meetings, or the winter meetings, start coming up. Let me find you the date on that. MLB winter meetings 2023. So they are coming up December 4th through the 7th in Nashville. So we're about a month away, a couple of weeks away. Are those the ones I was talking about? So those are the winter. For those who don't know, the winter meetings, they happen every year, different locations, and it's a giant convention for baseball. I actually, back in the day, Ryan, I had a lot of friends that would go there because you could search for jobs.
Oh.
Like minor league teams looking for play-by-play people, or like you could get passes. Like you and I could go. We could apply for passes and go to look job hunting. It's a giant convention for baseball, but front office people are there. It's usually where trades sometimes get hashed out. They all go and sit down at the, after hours sitting at the bar, kind of discussing stuff. So we'll see. But what's the other one? I thought there was another meeting coming. Oh, no, that's what it is. I'm sorry. That's what I'm talking about. The general managers meetings start tomorrow. That's what it is. So the owners meetings or the winners meetings are a month away. The general managers meetings are tomorrow in Scottsdale. I had some people say that that's a date to circle. That's something over the next couple of days as the GMs are out in Scottsdale. They have a chance to meet in person, again, talk trades, talk some of those things. That might be another mark here to see where the Guardians go with their managerial search. Counsell's my number one guy right now. I kind of think we're waiting to see what he does on there. Ohio State, well done. Didn't start out all that way, but took care of business with Rutgers. Michigan fired Connor Stallions. We'll get to that coming up in the morning. So we don't do the morning update on a Monday. We do around the league. But let's do this. Let's catch a break. When we come back, we'll do around the league, run through all the games, and we'll do an abridged version of the morning update. Stallions is out of a job. Michigan trying to make comments on what they're going to do. I think there's been a little bit of shift on that. Ohio State got the win. We'll take a look across the league as well for college football. It's a Victory Monday. Feels damn good. Browns getting it done today. And it's also a Victory Monday here on Big Play always. Us, 9 to 11. Chico, 12 to 2. You got the Blake and Greg Williams Come Get Some show tonight. You have Reflog tonight. You have Hanford tonight. You have Booby's World tonight, right?
Yep.
All right. What a day of content. What a day of content for us. I would imagine probably should get the schedule here because they all get to come in. This is the studio that we use, right? I would imagine that like from 9 a.m., which is obviously when we started, up until 9 p.m., 12 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's going to be 10 hours worth of content
It's a party
to
at
put
work.
out. So we're going to have a lot of stuff for you today. Easiest thing to do, go to Big Play on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. You see all the retweets from our show, all the shows I mentioned. Again, just on a Monday. Matt Fontana Show, 9 to 11. Chico, 12 to 2. Reflog, 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Come Get Some. Greg and Blake, I think, 7 o'clock.
Yep.
Hanford mixed in there.
Yep.
Then you could go back to yesterday with Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel on the Buckeye Show, recapping the win for Ohio State. Then we'll mix in Booby's World today. Then you get Josh and Maria Cribbs tomorrow, and then you get Drennan on Wednesday with some bonus time.
And Ted Tuesday.
And
Thursday,
Ted on Thursdays. And
Tuesday
Big
night
Bets,
after Cribbs.
Big Play, Big Bets. Man, we got it all for you. Follow us on Big Play. All the content that you need is right there, including our show, which is at Matt Fontana Show. We are 3 away from 300. I got nothing to give away other than a shout-out. But you'll get it if you follow us at Matt Fontana Show. Victory Monday rolls on. Let's go around the league. We had a lot to get to. Hour 2 upon us. Stay with us right here. Big Play, Fontana Show. Happy Victory Monday to all. All right, let's get to it around the league. Some games really help the Browns and then also not, because the rest of the AFC North is winning alongside of the Browns. Let's get to it. We run through around the league. Take it away, Ryan.
Alrighty, well, Matt, let's start in Germany, huh? Chiefs beat the Dolphins 21-14. Tua and the Dolphins still looking for that marquee win. They love to beat up on those bad teams, but they're 0-3 against teams above 500.
I mean, the shocking thing is that both Tua and Patrick Mahomes had their season low for yards. $185 for Pat, $193 for Tua. The interception, or was it the fumble, and then when they pitched it back and they ran it in. That's the kind of stuff the NFL probably loves overseas, because it was a kind of a glamorous kind of play like that. So it looked like a game that was being played overseas. It looked like two teams that were pretty tired. Miami didn't really look like themselves, and neither did the Chiefs. I guess maybe the Chiefs just had a little more for it. Kelsey, 3 for 14. It was just an off game, and I think going over there to Germany had a lot to do with that. Give the Chiefs credit, though. They held on. It was a fun game to watch, and I love the 9:30. I don't want a team in London permanently. I don't think that's going to make a lot of sense, but it's fun to wake up and be able to watch football at 9:30. Again, give credit to the Chiefs. I think they're the best team in the AFC. They solidified that. Dolphins are still really good, too, though. I expect that to be a rematch. Not in Germany, but a rematch at probably Arrowhead. Maybe for the AFC Championship.
Alrighty, well, the Baltimore Ravens quite literally ran all over Seattle. They throttled the Seahawks 37-3. Matt, Lamar Jackson didn't even throw a touchdown in this one.
Are the Seahawks frauds? We just saw them. Are they frauds? Geno Smith had the interception. Did he have a fumble in that game, too? He did. Because, Pete Carroll, of course, coach comes out, okay, I can't turn the football over. I think Seattle might be a little fraudulent. Just a little bit. Baltimore, though, holy cow. Do you know their leading rusher yesterday was?
Keaton Mitchell?
Keaton Mitchell. Who was that? Gus Edwards had a couple of touchdowns, which was nice. That's the scary thing, because then they lull you into that false sense of security that they're just going to run, and then Lamar can still, eat you up through the air. Right, he didn't mean to throw a touchdown. That was a dismantling. And that was, I think, a real statement win there for Baltimore. They're 3-1 at home. Browns will have their hand full come Sunday. We know that. The Browns will have their hands full come Sunday. I hate to see that, to be honest with you, getting ready for this game, but maybe a little letdown coming. We'll see. Really impressed with Baltimore. I think Seattle's a little fraudulent. I do.
Already, well, and what was surprisingly the best game of the week on the slate, the Texans outduel the Buccaneers 39-37. CJ Stroud with an absolutely historic performance. And I want to give a shout out to Buckeye Noah Brown, career game for him.
6 for $135. He was in Dallas for a long time, and Noah Brown was so interesting to me because when he was at Ohio State, he was not a big playmaker at Ohio State. And then I remember he declared for the draft, and I was like, huh. And I know there's a lot that goes into that decision, a family to take care of, and there's money that he was not going to get at Ohio State because NIL was not around yet. And he was always kind of in Dallas as like the 4th or 5th receiver. But obviously the guy can play a little bit. Stroud, it's too early to make this proclamation, but I'll do it anyway. What the hell was Carolina thinking? I said it at the draft. I said I was concerned about Bryce Young's height. Now, granted, I was also one that was dancing on Justin Herbert over Tua, and I was like, what idiots? Why would you do that? Well, where are we at now, 4 years into that? So there's still plenty of time to be written, but you want to know the other part of it? It's yet another quarterback you're going to have to deal with in the AFC. If CJ Stroud is exactly what you think he is or what he's shown to this point, that is yet another quarterback that the Browns are going to have to deal with in the AFC. It is insane right now to see the difference between the NFC quarterbacks and the AFC quarterbacks. It's not even close, man. And go figure, this is the time that the Browns actually get things turned around a little bit. Really impressed from CJ Stroud. I thought Baker had it, man. I thought Baker had it. He led that drive to get that touchdown late, and then his defense just couldn't hold. I did get a text from somebody, no names, please, that said right after the game, they go, I love watching Baker's, quote, weenie face as he sat there on the bench watching it go away. The stash, he looked, I'm surprised it wasn't gift and memed. I'm sure it was already. But, whatever. Tampa Bay, they're done. I took Tampa Bay in that game because I thought they'd be able to fight through that. They did cover, by the way, still, but how about they had it? So that's probably the last gasp maybe there from Tampa. It was a great game. It was a great game to watch. Great game. I think C.J. Stroud might be something you got to worry about for a little while.
Alrighty, well, the Saints survived the Bears. They went 24-17.
Ugh.
And New Orleans now
Ugh.
kind of a little hot. They now have sole possession of first place in the NFC South.
I'm not saying because they won, but they didn't cover on a loss for both of us. The thing about that game was I felt like there was a good chunk of it they played down to the Bears level. And you got to realize that some teams are just impervious to that they will play down to the level of their opponent. Do they have something there with Tyson Bagent? It's like he's playing well enough that you're happy about it, but if I'm Chicago, that would not still deter me from getting Justin Fields back in there as soon as you can. Bagent's nice as the backup, 3 interceptions. Good day to have the New Orleans defense. Still not overly impressed with what they're doing on off. Like that was, I guess, my thing. I was waiting for New Orleans, which again is crazy. They're 5-4. They're on this win streak. I was waiting for this offense to just explode, and they really haven't. New Orleans is a good team. Let's see if I can bet on this on Tipico quickly. What are their odds to win the NFC South right now? They got to be massive. They have to be a huge favorite, right?
I'd imagine it's something along like -1.
They got it right
60.
now. Right, they got it. NFL. Futures. Division winner. NFC South. New Orleans -145. I'm going to place a wager on that right now. $20. Saints. Oh, man. No. Hang on. Wait. I want to cash that out. I want to pick some other division winners. I love it. Real quick. In 2 seconds on Typical, I cash that out. We're back. I'll do that in a break. I don't want to derail the show, but... Or do you want to derail the show while I make my bets here on Typical?
Your show.
All right. It's our show. All right. All right. AFC South. I'm going to take the Jags. AFC West, Chiefs are -1,000. Oh, I can't parlay it because the outcomes are impactful of one another. All right, I'm just going to take the NFC South. Saints -145. I think that's good value. I'm going to put a 20 spot on that. Done. Typical. Use that code BIGPLAY150 and place your bets. Saints are winning that division.
Alrighty, well, Josh Dobbs cannot speak highly enough on him. He gets the win over Atlanta in a close one, 31-28. And it seemed as though the reports were out. Josh Dobbs didn't even really know the playbook.
Did you see him on the sideline? He had to take snaps from Garrett Bradbury because he didn't even know the guys on the offense.
And Kevin O'Connell said one of the most impressive things he's ever seen was Josh Dobbs' ability to take control of that game late in the fourth quarter.
And Atlanta.
What's going on with Bijan?
Oh, my God. What's going on with Arthur Smith? What is going on with the Falcons? Just, they suck. I really think that they're bad. So they turn it to Taylor Heineke, which I think, sorry, Ryan, is the right move. Okay, Desmond Ritter's not the guy. That's fine. But yeah, Bijan, 11 carries. Jonnu Smith had that long one. I know that Drake London didn't play in that game. They're still not throwing it to Kyle Pitts, which I just don't understand. Falcons. Arthur Smith going to play himself out of a job right now. Like, okay, McDaniels was the first one fired. Dude, big game tonight for Brandon Staley and crew. I think Arthur Smith is on one of the, like, he's who else? Like, he's got to be there. Atlanta, let's put it this way. You cannot lose that game. If you're the Atlanta Falcons, they started Jaron Hall. Now, you flip it over for the Vikings, who are about ready to pack this in. You get a little reprieve now. Do you think you can go with Josh Dobbs? Is Justin Jefferson coming off IR in a week or two? Vikings might be a little spicy. I read into that more of, I think Atlanta just, that's bad, man. That's a really, really bad loss from the Atlanta Falcons. But well done for the Minnesota Vikings. Very happy to see it with one Josh Dobbs.
Alrighty, well, the Packers get the win over the Rams, 20-3. Rams had nothing getting going for them with Brett Rypien in it. But Jordan Love does enough to get the win, 228 yards and a touchdown. I
mean, again, the same thing with the Packers. I don't believe in either one of these teams. The Packers are doing the right thing. Just let Jordan Love kind of grow. I was shocked that they didn't trade away Aaron Jones. I'm a big Aaron Jones fan. He had a solid game. Two really bad football teams, but the Rams they're really, 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 really bad. Remember that for all of our bets on the way out, right? They're really bad. I don't think the Packers are very good either. But nonetheless, well done. Good cover there for Green Bay.
Well, speaking of bad teams, New England falls to 2-7. They fall 20-17 to the Commanders at home. Mac Jones with a game-sealing interception.
They had that game. They had that game, and they just blanked it away. Again, the Commanders, nothing. I really don't believe much in them. You had that game. Those are games that Bill Belichick normally does not lose. Bad, really bad. Commanders, great, good job. Trade away all their guys. This little rebound there for them to just kind of prove something there. They're not going anywhere. Certainly the Patriots aren't going anywhere either.
Alrighty, well, the Colts kind of aren't going away. They get the win 27-13 over Carolina. Bryce Young with 3 interceptions, not his greatest day. But Gardner Minshew gets another win at the helm for the Colts.
Two bad teams again. Colts aren't going anywhere. Certainly the Panthers aren't either. It kind of works that they'll continue to be in the hunt there for the top picks. They've got Chicago's pick. Or no, other way around. Chicago's got Carolina's pick. But, yeah, play Bryce Young. I still would have taken C.J. Stroud. Here we are.
Alrighty, well, the Vegas Raiders seem a little rejuvenated after getting rid of...
Holy cow.
They win 30-6, and it just gets worse for Big Blue there in New York. Daniel Jones likely out for the season with a torn ACL.
Maybe they got something there with Aiden O'Connell. Because there was some scuttlebutt yesterday about... listen, we talked about the Josh McDaniels firing, how they had that blow-up meeting and dude, watch that locker room and tell me that they just, ding-dong, the witch is dead. They were so happy that Josh McDaniels was out of there smoking cigars, Antonio Pierce giving them Victory Mondays and all that kind of stuff. But something that came out yesterday, I saw this from Matt Miller, that one of the downfalls of Josh McDaniels was playing Brian Hoyer over Aiden O'Connell. And I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that Aiden O'Connell is going to be some franchise quarterback, but at this point in the season, you might as well play him and see what you got.
Yeah, Matt, I remember in the preseason, too. Obviously, DTR kind of had all the headlights, the best preseason, but Aiden O'Connell had a
really
very great
Aiden O'Connell.
preseason. And did you see the report that Josh McDaniel had Antonio Pierce speak to the players on his behalf?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was fried. I mean,
what is that?
Well, from the fallout from that, of beyond the $85 million that Mark Davis has to pay Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, I've joked about that in a long time, right? Is that I don't really have that contract status right now. I'd love nothing more than to get fired and then get paid out for years. Well, I guess that...
What's up, Bobby Bonilla or Bonilla?
Bobby Bonilla Day, yeah. It kind of happened at my last... I can't talk about that. Legal stuff, can't talk about it. But... that's just insane, the amount of money that he got paid. Regardless, it's now coming out that McDaniels seemed to be a control freak, and he would overcorrect, and he wasn't letting these guys play. He seemed like, he was trying to be Bill Belichick. You can't be Bill Belichick without having 6 rings, man. So you learn it that way. You try to go to this place where you're nitpicking everything, and it didn't work out. I think the interesting thing for Vegas is still they're just not going to throw to Devontae Adams still.
Yep.
Granted, they turned it around. They're 5-4. They're spicy a little bit, but I don't know. I guess, let me do this. Give me another game. Who do the Raiders play next week? I'm putting you on the spot here. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
The Raiders, they play...
The Jets.
The Jets?
On
Sunday night?
Sunday night.
Ew.
Did you see that? Was that the game that somebody said they chose not to flex?
Yeah, they chose not to flex it.
That's next week, right?
Maybe they knew something that the Raiders were going to be rejuvenated.
I guess. All right, hang on. I want to go to next week's schedule and tell me that you couldn't find a better game to flex. So Sunday night, you got the Jets-Raiders. You have the Lions-Chargers at 4 o'clock. Why is that not? And granted, if the Chargers win tonight, that would have been nice. Ugh.
Not the greatest slate.
Dude, actually, it's a pretty bad slate.
I'd argue the only real 3 games.
Well, the game that would have been the flex. Browns-Ravens.
Which, would have been very entertaining.
Honestly, next week, Browns-Ravens and the 49ers-Jags. And then, again, I'll give you the Lions-Chargers. Those are the best games next week. It's kind of a bad slate. Chiefs, Dolphins, and Eagles. You want to know why? Chiefs, Dolphins, and Eagles all on a bye next week. That's a bad week for the NFL right there. Give me next week on a little Aiden O'Connell. Be Sunday Night Football. I'll be certainly tuned in for that. Give me next week for a little Aiden O'Connell. We'll see how he does.
Alrighty, well, the Eagles survive late against the
Great
Cowboys,
game.
28-23. Philadelphia remains the top team in the NFL with an 8-1 record. Dallas almost pulled off a crazy comeback at the end.
You know, it's funny. Somebody tweeted that C.J. Stroud and Dak Prescott both had about the same amount of time and the same length of the field. C.J. Stroud got it done, and Dak Prescott didn't. Now, them running a route short of the goal line doesn't really make a lot of sense, but give credit to the Eagles. They said, we're just going to stand here at the goal line, not let you in. That was a really fun game to watch.
It was.
Eagles showed continue a lot. There's something, my biggest takeaway, I think, from the Eagles are there are times they just can't get out of their own way. They have bad penalties. That game made me sick to my stomach on several of these illegal contact things. As much as we complain about the roughing the passer calls, which are just abysmal, okay? This defensive illegal contact is the new one. Watch tonight. Watch the NFL and tell me that the new flavor of the month penalty is illegal contact down the field. It's disgusting. It's terrible. The refereeing in the NFL is the worst I've ever seen it. I can't even watch these games anymore. I hate it. But they had some bad ones for Philly yesterday, and they just couldn't get out of their own way. They kept Dallas around. Dallas will make the playoffs. I'm not saying that they won't. I'm not trusting them to do very much. I really am not. And the thing is, you're calling me crazy because they took the Eagles to the brink. And I know the Ferguson touchdown where he was down and Dak stepped out going in for the 2-point conversion. I get it. I understand that. I watched the whole game. It was a fun game. I'm not buying stock in the Cowboys. Okay, a lot of people do this on a lot of shows. Stock up, stock down, right? I'm not buying stock in the Dallas Cowboys right now. Sell. Good win for the Eagles.
Already, well, the last game Sunday night, Bengals look good once again. One of the hottest teams in the NFL. They beat the Bills 24-18. Josh Allen with a costly pick in his own they're own 20-yard line. But the Bengals, Joe Burrow, is looking fantastic. A couple touchdowns for him. 348 yards. He is all the way back, and a great needed game for T. Higgins.
I picked the Bills because I thought this train that the Bengals are on right now would fall. I guess they're just going to do it again like they did last year. Because they're on a hot streak right now. And the thing is, Burrow's calf, he's fine. He looks back to scrambling like the old. How about this for the for the Bengals coming up? So they get the Texans, so they're on a 4-game win streak. They get the Texans this weekend at home, who they could be a spicy team. Go ahead and write me down for Cincinnati already, I would imagine. By the way, Browns are already a 5-point dog for Sunday. Typico NFL. 7 for the Bengals over the Texans. I still like Cincinnati in that game. That's a little high for me. I'll wait to see if that comes down during the week. But still, they go Texans, Ravens, Steelers, Jags. That's a tough stretch.
Yeah.
And they still have the Chiefs. They still have one more against us and the Steelers. Their way out is not easy, but they proved me something a little bit there. For the Buffalo Bills, and you know how I feel about the Bills. They are 5-4, young Ryan. They are out of the playoffs right now.
Yeah,
right now.
Hell, if the Jets win tonight, that AFC East is not wide open because it's still going to be the Dolphins, but the Jets are right there.
Bills got the Broncos, Jets. Then a stretch. How about this stretch for the Bills on the way out? At the Chiefs, home against the Cowboys, at the Chargers. Oh, I buried the most important one. They play Philly Thanksgiving weekend. So this stretch for the Bills, they have 2 weeks, Broncos, Jets. Then the Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots will be a win. They end at the Dolphins.
Well, Matt, will the Patriots be a win? They beat the Bills earlier.
They did. They did. You screw around like Buffalo, you're going to find their way. Maybe my prediction of Buffalo not making the playoffs might come to fruition, man. They're 5-4. They had every chance to make some hay while they could, and they haven't. That was a big loss, I think, for Buffalo. We'll see how it goes. Chargers, Jets tonight. We'll get to our picks a little bit later with Tipico to place our Monday Night Football wagers as we go. Let's turn over to college football. Ohio State doing what they needed to do, taking care of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, 35-16. Slow start, only the touchdown in the first half. McCord turned it on, 3 touchdowns. I think the best part of that game was Travion Henderson's all the way back, man. And you didn't even need to throw to Marvin Harrison in this game. And that's sometimes a game where that'll set you up. Because the next couple of games, Michigan State, and then, is that it? Then we're into Michigan already? Yeah, 3 weeks. Holy cow. Wow. Time flying. You just want to give Michigan a lot to think about. You know, they're going to double Marvin Harrison. But if you can run the football the way they did with Travion Henderson, you're going to be just fine. Getting some other guys involved, which is great. I don't read too much into that win for Rutgers. For Ohio State, they got it done. Georgia not covering against Missouri. That's fine. Michigan coming on out and taking care of business of Purdue. Let's talk Michigan for a second. So they fire this Connor Stallions guy. He's out. He was on paid leave or suspended. I can't remember if it was pay or not. But now they fired him. Well, that is an admittal of guilt, is it not? Admittance of guilt. You know what he did. Now, the biggest question is going to be, will they play the game of Jim Harbaugh didn't know? He didn't know. So Michigan firing this guy tells you that obviously there was merit to what he was doing. Then, did you see the other Central Michigan video that came out this weekend? The guy runs to the sidelines. You see Connor Stallion go like this, and he pulls his hat down. Seriously. Somebody ran out of bounds, and the caption was, who would turn away? Like, first, everybody ran to grab the player. Connor Stallions turns and pulls his hat down. So the evidence, as we knew, is overwhelming of what this guy was doing. Michigan now fires him. So that is at first them saying, yeah, we know what he was doing. Are they going to play the defense that you didn't know? Because, Ryan, do you know what the NCAA hates even more? The excuse of, well, I didn't know. That never works. That never works. And this has been a roller coaster when it comes to Michigan. When it first started, people were lining up with pitchforks and torches. They're like, death penalty, take them out, vacate wins, suspend them. And then as it went on, you're like, all right, it is the NCAA. They're a little corrupt. Maybe they won't bring down the heavy hand. I think we are now back to, oh boy, they might levy some serious punishment there towards Michigan. Because I don't want to do it, but let's do it. Let's help Michigan for a second. You and I are going to put our lawyer hats on, or probably a suit is more apropos for our lawyering here on the show. What would you do if you were Michigan? You sit down with the NCAA. What is your best case defense to try to get out of this? We didn't know. That is really all that you can say. When the evidence will prove there's no way that you didn't. When you have a sideline of players pointing to where the play is going to go. When this guy is standing next to your defensive coordinator. How can, at least to that level, there is no way that at least the DC didn't know. So the DC is going to lose his job. Now, the other part is if Jim Harbaugh, will he stand by and let everybody else fall? I don't know. I could make some joke about him being a scummy person anyway, or I don't really like him as it goes, whatever, fine. But is he really going to stand there and let everybody else take the fall for this? I guess that's the whole point of being the head honcho, right? You have what? Plausible deniability. They build that in, frankly, in life. But certainly in college football. They love that more than anything is plausible deniability. That usually does not carry well with the NCAA. Because they will hit them with what? I always screw this up. Institutional control. Lack of institutional control. I didn't even need the tweet this time. Thank you. I popped in my head. They will pop them for that. So Michigan has now backed themselves into this corner. They're going to get hit by the NCAA here. The question is when. And as we continue to go back and forth, what is going to change is what happened last week. You have the coaches and the athletic directors coming to the Big Ten and saying, you better do something. You had better do something now. especially if they're going to wait and hope that Ohio State wins that game and it'll solve itself, that comes off as weak. That's going to come off as weak from the Big Ten to say, oh, you want somebody else doing your dirty work for you. And then also, the penalty will be not nearly as impactful. If they came out this week, and let's just play that game for a second. NCAA comes out tomorrow, and they say, Jim Harbaugh is indefinitely suspended, because I think that's number one. I'm not talking about a year. I'm not talking about a game. I'm talking he is indefinitely suspended from the team. The defensive coordinators, because I think they have two, are indefinitely suspended. And Michigan, it would be hard for them to say is banned from postseason play. Because the thing is, they're going to take all the time and try to turn over every stone, and they're going to watch every video and tape. But if they did that, then you know that Michigan, Ohio State, the ratings will tank. And what happens, God help them, if Michigan wins? Then you're taking them out? Then how does the College Football Playoff Committee? Because the other thing, the College Football Playoff Committee, don't forget this, can pick whoever the hell they want. They can pick whoever they want. So they can remedy this situation by saying, we're not going to take Michigan no matter what. They won't do that. But don't forget that there's enough power in the end. There's not, I guess my whole point is, there's multiple ways to skin a cat here. You can do this a lot of different ways on how you want to punish Michigan. The question is it going to come before the Michigan-Ohio State game? And I don't think so. But them firing over the weekend, Ryan, really just kind of told me, like, dude, they know what he did. We all know what he did.
Yeah,
Everybody
Matt,
knows.
I'm waiting for the in a couple of years for this 30-30 doc. That's going to be juicy.
Pete Thamel this morning. Don't expect any action by the Big Ten in the Michigan sign-stealing case for at least the next 48 hours, as the league's sportsmanship rules allow for a reasonable chance to respond to an institution or individual. Sources have told ESPN that there will be a legal battle if there's punitive suspension by the Big Ten to Jim Harbaugh. That came out a half an hour ago. So again, Pete Thamel this morning from ESPN. Don't expect any action by the Big Ten in the Michigan sign-stealing case for at least the next 48 hours, as the league's sportsmanship rules allow for a reasonable chance to respond to an institution on what happened. So we haven't had anything else, right? No, I haven't seen anything this morning. So, wait, but the way that Thamel put that out, it sounds like, again, a reasonable chance for an institution to respond. That would make it sound like they did something, right? That would make it sound like they did hand sound a suspension. I haven't seen that this morning. Did that happen? No. That'd have been all over the place. There's no way that happened. It's, again, going to be this legal, drawn out type of thing. Michigan, I don't think has much ground to stand on, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's catch a break. When we come back, we're going to dive back into the Browns. Tweets are up at Matt Fontana Show. We're asking everybody, how do you feel about Deshaun Watson after that game yesterday? Want to talk more Watson? We'll talk the more unfortunate thing on Jed Will's injury. No new updates on that this morning, but we'll get to that a little bit as we continue on. Place your bets with Tipico, folks. I watched a little NASCAR yesterday. I'm a NASCAR fan. Shout out to Ryan Blaney. He won the championship yesterday. I'm kicking myself, Ryan, that I didn't place a bet on him because I felt good. I felt pretty good about it. And I love that about Tipico. You can go to the app, and I tell you about the Big Play 150. And that started out for football, but you could use that. Like, you could use that on any sport. Ryan, do you want to know what I see populated this morning on
What's
Tipico?
that?
College basketball.
Oh, finally.
Today, 4:30, Oregon, Georgia. Ducks favored by 6.5. Who do you like? Well, all right, here we go. Ohio State, 7 o'clock tonight. Oakland, not that Oakland, the other one. Oakland University, I think from Michigan. It's either Michigan or Pennsylvania.
I believe we kick off too.
Michigan.
Is it Rutgers and Princeton?
That is tonight.
Princeton, well, they were our Cinderella team last year almost.
Rutgers, 5.5-point favorites. Ohio State, 19.5.
Matt, college basketball is my element, so you just get ready for all of my.
Well, give me
my
your
locks.
picks. What are you doing standing there for?
See, I need a couple days to judge.
Oh, come on.
I don't want to spew uneducated bets.
That's what I do for 2 hours, man. All right, here's what I'm going to do. No, you don't know what to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to cook up. There's a lot of games tonight.
unfortunately, we don't get a real good game until about a week or so, but it's good to see it kicked off. Or tipped off, I should say.
Tipped off would be the way to do it. Dude, do you know what I'm cooking up right now? I'm cooking up. Oh, this is bad. This is so bad. But I'm going to do it anyway. These are all games. Dude, there's like 25 games tonight. St. Joe's, Lafayette, Toledo, Detroit Mercy. Oh, come on now. Keep coming. I am literally scrolling down and taking every game that is over 1,000 on the money line. I have a 20-leg parlay, Ryan, that is up to plus 189.
Okay.
Which tells you that I've picked all these teams that are just minus 1,900. I'm picking Wake Forest minus 6,000. Florida minus 6,000 against Loyola, Maryland. Iowa State minus 1,800 against Green Bay. I have a 26-leg parlay that comes out to plus 232. I'm going to put $20 on that to win 66. Seriously.
There you go.
Just did that.
Play your odds.
Look, I wish I could take my... Can I walk it up to the camera?
You can screenshot and send me it.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
I can't even get all of them on the screen, though. Here, seriously. Oh, my God. These are all literally a 26-leg parlay. But I triple my money, Ryan. I triple my money.
We'll see if you get a hot start to the college basketball season.
And again, it's all minus 10,000. My closest game is minus 700. VCU and McNeese State and Rhode Island. Do that on Tipico. I don't know if Tipico likes that very much, but hey, that's the whole point of the parlay. Get signed up. Use that code BIGPLAY150. You can join me on a 26-leg college basketball parlay. Am I sick, Ryan? Is that bad? Is that degenerate of me?
No.
It's not degenerate if I'm going to win.
Yeah,
it's not guaranteed. Seriously. You're telling me that any of these games are going to lose? No. And it's money line. It's not the spread. It's money line. I don't care if they win by 1. Yeah. We'll revisit this tomorrow when it epically fails. I like that. Tipico. Download the app. Use the code BIGPLAY150. Get signed up. All right, let's catch a break. We come back, dive back in the Browns. Download the Tipico app. You see the QR code as we take a break. Stay with us. just sent that parlay. If you'd like to join along at Matt Fontana 83, I just sent out my 26-leg NCAA basketball opening night parlay.
Matt, make sure you can take multiple screenshots and send me it because I'm gonna get that posted on the page and we're gonna see how many people
You want the
ride with
video?
you.
It's literally so long that I had to take a video of it.
Yeah, send me that.
All right, I'm sending you the video right now.
We'll see who's gonna ride with you tonight to kick off. Let's hope a magical college basketball season.
You want it airdropped?
Whatever's easier.
I'm just gonna text it to you. Airdrop's fine. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Damn you, technology. All right, we're back in. Talking to the Browns. Our Twitter question is up. So, like, when we do Tipico, who we love very much, and they're the best. Like, Sunny out with us every Friday. We have a lot of fun with Tipico. And we've talked to a lot of people about, like, us doing our own little, like, show. You know, we do the boosts and everything. Do you think we could send them that boost?
Yeah. I'd love to hear the creative name you come up for that boost.
I don't even know. 26 legs. 26 legs. Hey, you want to know what? I love that about Tipico, too, because there are some books that'll limit your legs on a parlay. They'll tell you can only do 15 legs. So I did a 26 leg NCAA, and I know nothing. I'm glad you like college basketball, Ryan, because I detest college basketball. Okay. I hate it. It's my least favorite. I like soccer more than I like college basketball.
Oh, I can't tell you how much I love betting my paychecks on 18 to 20-year-olds making free throws or not.
You ever watched a documentary on Headache Smith?
No.
Oh, it's good on Netflix. He was a guy that at Arizona State, he got popped for point shaving, like back in the 90s.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, great documentary. So, yes, I bet college football, it's no different. College basketball is a different animal, though. So I'm glad you're here on the show because I will be leaning towards you. Okay. So, Ryan, what do you think of my 26-leg parlay tonight? Are you worried about VCU? What are your thoughts here on Purdue?
Well, Matt.
And Samford.
26 teams, 26 games, a lot could happen there. But, hey, I mean.
I'm sorry.
They're big favorites.
I can't deny that. I would sit here and tell you I feel like it's free money. But we will wake up to. I'll tell you what. If some team that is minus 1,000 loses, then I guess it just wasn't meant to be. Browns were borderline, not 1,000, but they were -3. I think when it closed out. Good. Tipico liked my tweets, so they must not be that angry at me. Browns were not that. They were minus like 300 or something to get the win yesterday. But they did that. They did just that. The Browns got the win that I asked them to do. And our question is. How are you feeling about Deshaun Watson? Was that a game that you can sit there and you say you feel a lot better about where he is at? Update on Twitter question. 66% of people say it's a little better. 16% say they feel a lot better. 15% unchanged. Only 2% say they're a little bit worse. Ryan, was yesterday the game that you expected? Because we had a lot of time to sit there and wonder what Deshaun Watson's first game was going to look like when he came back. And granted, the opponent, which is another reason why I was happy that he got to play against Arizona, because you knew they weren't doing much. So you could take the pressure off a little bit. You could maybe call some different plays. You were in control of that game. I didn't want him walking out there against Baltimore next weekend and not playing football for a month and a half. Yeah. So that's why I was happy that they were able to do it against Arizona. Was it what you thought?
Yeah, I think the narrative, how it played out was almost exactly how it should have played out in the sense of we had a kind of slower start. We limited a rookie quarterback to do absolutely nothing, which should have happened. The defense, once again, looked amazing. Great get-right game for them headed to Baltimore. And then you go to Deshaun in the offense. Amari Cooper was obviously our real only gem. Deshaun Watson started out slow, like we all thought he probably would, but then he came out in the second half. He looked different. He played well. He made a good throw, made that fantastic throw, and he gave us some hope and some momentum for that he can carry into the Baltimore game. So I think that game kind of played out exactly how we thought it was going to.
That is the step that I think the Browns needed to take, was number one, continuing to show that you don't always need Deshaun Watson to win games. But Sunday, I'm going to need him to step up and be a part of the victory. There's always going to be this balance of not putting it all on Watson, but him also playing to a franchise quarterback level. Of the percentages of the breakdown of 100% for a Browns victory, I need Deshaun Watson at 30 to 40%. And then the offensive line at a percentage and the Browns defense at a percentage and all these things. For any one individual, it is the biggest chunk. Here's a great question. behind Deshaun Watson, who owns the biggest percentage of success for the Cleveland Browns? If you had to put it on the next player after Deshaun Watson, who is the player that you have to have a big chunk of the Browns' victory being a part of?
Is this offense or the whole team?
Anybody.
No, I guess Miles.
Probably Miles.
Yeah.
You would think then maybe Amari Cooper, which then goes back to Deshaun Watson. But make no mistake, this still will fall on Deshaun Watson. And Sunday was a tune-up game. That's exactly what it was.
No pun intended.
None. Ha, 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 ha. Nice. I did not think of that. Well done. That was just, that's how bad I am at dad jokes and puns. They manifest themselves without me even trying. It's a talent. It's a skill. I don't know what to tell you. It's a
I
talent.
don't know. Not to derail.
That was a great catch by you, though, Ryan. I appreciate you catching that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but not to derail your point real quick. But that just reminded me so funny talking about the dad stuff. I was hooking up some cables here in the lounge, and I asked Dave. My hands were kind of hurting because I was doing it for a while. And I asked Dave. I'm like, Dave, at what age will I accumulate dad hands? Like those thick, callous, just muscular.
So my calluses are gone because I usually got them from the gym, and I haven't been in the gym in 6 months for a litany of reasons. But I also was working on my garage all weekend. So like you want, I'll tell you what, young Ryan, you want to get grip strength or you want to work some calluses.
Yeah.
Go work some sheetrock for a couple of days. Go try hang some drywall for a little bit.
Okay.
If you're out there watching or listening and you hang drywall for a living, you are let's just say you'd win an arm wrestling match. Dude, sheetrock sucks. It's not to say I'm bad at it. I'm good at it. I'm good at hanging it. I'm good at taping and mud and all that kind of stuff. But dude, sheetrock will tear your hands up.
Okay, I need to get into that.
I mean, dad hands are kind of they're relative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was singing line Jaws, my favorite movie. Grabs Hooper's hands. He goes, "I've been counting money your whole life." Got city hands, Mr. Hooper. I've been counting money your whole life. You'll get there. I had better ones. They're gone. Because I get them. I literally, when I wouldn't be in the gym, I got them. All my brothers are all in the trade, so they always make fun of my not man hands, so to speak. But you'll get there one day. The hell were we talking about? Clayton 2 in the tune-up game. That's right. That was a good pun. For Deshaun Watson to just get back in the flow of things and to start out and to realize, I think because the problem with Watson, there was always going to be this pressure. And it's going to be there. I'm not making an excuse because the other part of this game yesterday, Ryan, was people that they get so pissed off, right? Where if you say Deshaun Watson played well, they instantly fire back with, that's what he's paid to do, or that's what he's supposed to do. You go with all right, I'm going to give Deshaun Watson some runway to build up. Oh, stop making excuses for him. He's got to play. He's $230 million. Or you come on and go, Deshaun Watson played poorly. They go, see, look, I told you. It's just kind of what it's going to be with Deshaun Watson. I don't want all the pressure on him. I don't need all the pressure on him. And to see the Browns team built the way that they are, it will take that pressure off of Deshaun Watson, which is a very good thing. Now, you're going to need him to play better than he did against Arizona, against Baltimore. I'm not chalking this up as a loss. Trust me, I'm not. Because I actually think Sunday's going to be a very competitive game. I'll call it right now, Ryan. We'll talk about this week. Could be a big letdown game here for Baltimore. I mean, they're on a streak right now. They're rolling. It could be a letdown game. You could sneak up and grab one from them, okay? But you still are going to look at, even if you lose that game, you're still in this. Okay, the division, which might be our 2 for Tuesday for tomorrow. Write this down. Do you still feel like the Browns can win the division? Because I have changed. I don't think so, right? So you are sitting here. Let's pull up the division standings. Baltimore is 7-2. Steelers, Browns, and Bengals are all 5-3. The Steelers are 2-0 in the division. Browns are 1-2, and the Bengals are 0-2 in the division. And knowing that we still have a division game against each one of them to finish on out. So let's say you sweep it. Okay, well, you're going to go 4-2 in the division. That should be good enough, right? And then that would be 4 more wins to get you to 9. God, that would be great. And then 2 more wins. I guess there's that world. The thing is, I think Baltimore, they have a 2-game lead. And in essence, it is a 3-game lead because they are 2-1 in the division. Now, wait a minute. Is there one loss to the Steelers? It was.
It was.
Okay. All right. That kind of throws a wrench into it. And then, here out of nowhere, comes Cincinnati. They're the hot streak right now. I didn't even do this earlier. Let's look on Typico. Baltimore has got to be the favorite. And I'm going to say like minus 200 to win the division. That's going to be my gut feeling. I haven't even looked at it yet. All right, home, NFL. Again, I love Typico, man. You get to it in 2 seconds. AFC North. Ravens minus 130. Close. Bengals are second at plus 270. That's kind of what I was getting to. Browns are plus 600. Steelers are plus 850 to win the division. By the way, the Steelers being at plus 850 as the last team in the division is the best in all of football. Everybody else has plus 15,000, plus 1,000. Like the Panthers are plus 15,000 to win the South. Cardinals are plus 20,000. So again, oh man, do you see this bet on Typico? Which division will win the AFC? The East, the North, the South, or the West? There are two divisions at plus 175, the North and the West. So you'd be putting your eggs in the Bengals and the Ravens and the Browns versus the Chiefs. East, you would go Bills, Dolphins. South would just be the Jags at plus 550. That's a spicy bet. NFC South, the favorite is the NFC East, Eagles, Cowboys. NFC West is second at plus 175. That would be the 49ers.
And Seahawks, but mainly the 49ers.
Ryan, it'll be the 49ers, trust me. I'm all out on Seattle. I'm sorry. I don't, and that kind of maybe makes that loss sting a little bit more. I think they're fried. I think they're cooked. But anyway, going back to the Browns in Baltimore this weekend, you have afforded yourself an opportunity that is not a must-win game. And that kind of goes back to why I thought yesterday was a must-win game. And that's exactly what the Browns did. Must-win game. You've now afforded yourself. You've put yourself in this good position. And now we see where Deshaun Watson goes. The other big news today is going to be Jedrick Wills. And I'm preparing for the worst. I am. And the conversation about him and his career in Cleveland, that's all aside. The Browns are now going to be without their starting left tackle. That's not good. Any way you slice it. If Jed Wills was really that bad, he would not have been playing. That's not where we're at. Now, James Hudson can come in, and maybe we have maybe we have a Dwan Jones situation, which gets to another point. Would you move Dwan Jones over to left tackle? My gut says no. Like, don't mess with a good thing. You have put him in at right tackle. He's playing his ass off. He's playing well over there. Keep him there. And then, frankly, what you got to do with Jack Conklin. You know, we talk about that Jed Wills, that fifth-year option getting picked up. That Jack Conklin contract didn't sit well, is it? Because now you know what you have in Dwan Jones. He's your starting right tackle moving forward. But there's already, I've seen it. People are wondering, could you slide Dwan Jones back over to left tackle? Would you slide him over there? Or keep James Hudson in there? I guess best case scenario when we talk to Kevin Stefanski later today would be that this is a couple of week injury. But even then, you still have to do something in intermediate. And you're facing the Baltimore Ravens, who are the number one sack team in the NFL. And even if you want to, if I really want to get down in the weeds here of X's and O's football, even if you want to start putting a tight end over there to help out, then that's one less guy in the route tree. You're not throwing to the tight ends anyway, and you've been helping out Dwan Jones a little bit here and there. Let's talk about the one last thing that we haven't brought up with this, Ryan. Do you know where I'm going? Joel Bitonio. He's done it. He's done it. Now, I sit here to say, give James Hudson a look. We start with James Hudson being your left tackle going into Sunday. And that Ty Neshke, he's out. They signed Leroy Kelly. They signed another offensive lineman in the practice squad. Alex Leatherwood is still down there, too, on the practice squad. You give your first crack to James Hudson and let him be your starting left tackle. But if you need to, maybe we think about sliding Joel Bitonio out there. So maybe not. Again, it sucks that Jed Wills went down. You don't want that to happen, but here we are anyway. So we'll have to see. So I think big news on that coming out a little bit later today. Big news later today will be Monday Night Football. We got the Chargers traveling to take on the New York Jets tonight. What do we got? Let's get into it. A 3.5-point spread on the side of the Chargers. It opened at 1.5, and I would have to assume that some of that might be because of the public money. Let me pull that up for you here in 2 seconds. Public money for tonight's game has 72% of it on the Jets. Huh. Open at a 1.5. It's now to 3.5 for the LA Chargers. Let's jump into some trends on this one. I'll start with their recent games. Chargers coming in. They got a nice win over Chicago. Before that, they had lost back-to-back games to the Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys. For the Jets, can you believe that they are on a 3-game win streak? They beat the Giants in kind of a crappy game, 13-10. They shocked Philly 20-14, and then they got a nice win against Denver. So they're on a 3-game win streak. Let's get into the trends here. I will start with the LA Chargers. Chargers are coming in. They're only 3-6 straight up in their last 9 games, but they do beat the Jets. They are 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games against the Jets. The Chargers are 4-1 in their last 5 games when they play at MetLife against the Jets. But the Chargers are only 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games on the road. My only trend for them on Monday Night Football, the under has hit 5 out of the last 6 games for the Chargers on Monday Night Football, and the under has hit in all 5 of the Chargers' last 5 games. Now, the under in this game, 39.5. That's not very high. You flip it over for the Jets, the under has hit 9 out of their last 12 games. Maybe the under is the play here. Jets are 4-9 straight up in their last 13 games. I mentioned how they've struggled at home against the Chargers, just 1-4 in their last 5 games. 3.5 is the line. I feel like the Chargers need to get right here. They're slipping. They're losing ground here in the playoff race. I don't think they're going to make it, but I think they're better than the Jets. Give me the Chargers minus 3.5. Ryan.
Alrighty, well, Matt, I'm going to actually take the Jets to cover this one.
Wow. Okay.
I don't expect a lot of points to be scored in this whatsoever. And that being said, that bodes well for the Jets and the defense. So they might not win, but I'll take them to cover that.
I mean, you look at these two defenses, I kind of like where your head is at. The under might be the better play here, even at 39.5, but the defenses here should show up. I'll tell you this, if the Chargers get to 20 points, then that's it. Then they're going to win. But you're facing this defense that is playing out of their mind right now. And there is this element that Zach Wilson is playing better. The Chargers, and I know I screamed about them earlier in the year. I got something about the Chargers. I just expect them to be better than they are. I think Justin Herbert should be better than he is, and I just can't get away from it. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. I can't do it. So I'm going to take the Chargers tonight. Get on Tipico. Place your bets. My 26-leg parlay. Ewing on Twitter. The Bonnies are going to let me down. Say Bonaventure. What do you mean?
The Bonnies.
JB on Twitter. Oh, man, you know some team is getting upset. Shout out to Mike Jalarsik. I went to high school with. He says plus 233. That's it. A 26-leg parlay at a plus 233. My boy Nick says that's ridiculous. Emmett goes, shout out to E. Goldie. I love you. He goes, I love that all the games combined are plus 232. It's free money. I don't know what to tell you, man. Come on. There's no way. It's a lock. Could you imagine what's going to happen this morning when I walk in here and I go, yeah, look at me go. Woo! 26-leg parlay. I picked all the biggest favorites. And you want to know the crazy thing? I stopped at 7 o'clock. There's that many basketball games tonight in college. Oh, we'll get to our bracket in a second. We got to reveal this in a second. So if I go to college basketball, where did I stop? I stopped at like 8 o'clock, I think. So I didn't. Okay, here's the thing. I didn't even put Alabama in there at minus 8,000. I didn't put. Oh, I think I did put Missouri in there. But there's games at like 10 o'clock tonight. Dude, do you see this slate? This is insane. I didn't even put Washington State. They're minus 10,000 against Idaho. Should I go cash out it? Should I go cash it out and add it?
No.
Think 26 isn't enough?
Well, imagine you do that, and that's the game that loses.
That would be karma. That
You'd
would
be beside yourself.
I would be pretty pissed at myself. All right, let's get to our bracket. I'll tweet this out at Matt Fontana 83, as we always do. Big play bracket. We got into Thriller last week from Michael Jackson. Your favorite music video, the best music video of all time. How about that? The best music video of all time. Thriller will be a #1 seed. I'm assuming we'll get 16, so tweet it at Matt Fontana 83, and we'll set the brackets tomorrow. We got to fly. Don't forget, Chico coming up 12-2. We got you locked and loaded all day. 12-2 Chico. Then tonight, reflog. Blake and Greg Williams. Come get some. Hanford Dixon Show, a special edition of Booby's World. Tonight, we are slammed all evening. Follow us on Big Play and stream it on the iHeart app. We got to go. Victory Monday. It's always sweet. Appreciate you joining a little of us with this morning. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.